Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High Yahweh, through Mashiach Yahweh Shai. We had some technical difficulties. We had to start over again. Again, my name is Officer Barazal. To my right.
Shalom, Israel. Captain Nicole.
And to my left.
Officer Priest Tazalot.
That's right. So we got some good news today. The Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. All praise to the Most High. Okay. So yeah, of course you can see me. So, overturned Roe v. Wade. People out there are mad. They're upset. But we're happy. Because now the legal termination of our children is not happening anymore. And I don't care what anyone says about that. We're happy. So, we'll open up real quick with the book of Colossians, as usual, 3 verse 17.
Come.
Look at that.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the power and the Abba by him.
So all praises to the Most High. We're going to do everything according to the scriptures and what it says. That's not going to be our filter. It's what we depend on. So Roe v. Wade has been overturned. There's people rioting in the streets right now because, you know, it's their health care. Even though it's one specific part of this bill or this law that was important. Not their health care that they discussed, but what they were actually doing to our children. So, make this video. I got one of the sources right here. I want to show this video to everybody. So you can check it out and see what's going on with the people. It's going to be good. It's a short video, not too long. There we go. So when you guys see it, you know, this is what happened right now.
Anti-abortion rights activists rejoiced outside the Supreme Court as the 50-year-old precedent guaranteeing the constitutional right to an abortion has been overturned. The court ruled to overturn its landmark Roe v. Wade decision of 1973. 5 conservative justices agreed to overturn a court ruling that blocked Mississippi's 15-week abortion ban, which was filed by the state's last remaining abortion clinic. The 3 liberal justices dissented, while Justice John Roberts, in a concurring opinion, said Roe v. should remain untouched. The Roe decision protected a woman's constitutional right to abortion before a fetus was viable outside the womb. The new decision also overturned the 1992 decision of Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which said that states can't enact restrictions that would impose an undue burden on people trying to access abortion before a fetus is viable. In the majority opinion, Justice Samuel Alito said that Roe was wrong from the start and has had damaging consequences. The ruling now sends the decision on where abortions are performed back to individual states. Tens of millions of women in the United States will be affected as more conservative states have been signing limits bans into law. President Biden has said that the responsibility is on elected officials to pass legislation protecting the right to an abortion. For Inside Edition Digital,
Okay, so you guys just saw the video of what they were saying, right? So they're saying that they have lost their right to terminate their children. But what about their health care? What this is about health care? They said that this law protected the women's health care, women's right to whatever they want to do, but it's always talking about termination of the children. Nothing else. They'll talk about their screenings. They'll talk about their examinations they gotta take for stuff for their body. No, it's all about doing one thing, which is terminating their children. That was the main thing that they were arguing about. But they always use all these other things to try to cover it up. So, all praise the Most High that thing's over. My clip. Okay, so I had in my notes that this is not new. This is something that we've experienced before, back in the past. We've experienced this before with our enemies. Don't be confused. Planned Parenthood is not your friend. They are your enemies. These people are here to destroy you. They've convinced you that you terminating your own children is for your health. It's for your own benefit.
Right.
but it's really we're basically doing the work for them. So I'm gonna go back in the past. Let me get Ecclesiastes 1:9. Let me get Job 8:8.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9.
Uh huh.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be.
Uh huh.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
What was that?
There is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, this is not the first time we have experienced where they've destroyed our children. They come after our children so we can stop generating.
Right.
Let me get that scripture you got.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8.
Let me Ecclesiastes 1. Sorry, Exodus 1 and 7. Go ahead.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age,
Uh-huh.
and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
So we have to prepare ourselves for the search of our fathers. We have to go back and look at history. Because as scripture says, there's no new thing under the sun. Everything repeats. It comes back like a ring. It's a circle, goes around a circle. This is not new to us. It might be a new way of doing it, but we're just experiencing history again as we've written before. Okay, so this one we'll touch on is basically from our history. I keep saying basically. It's our history. When you go in the book of Exodus, we learn that the Pharaoh... No, I read it. You read it yourself. That's what it says. Read that.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 7.
Uh-huh. All the way to 20.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly,
Uh-huh.
and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty.
So we reproduced very quickly, and we reproduced so much that we were a great nation because we had great families, we had the law on our side, and we were fruitful and we multiplied. Keep going.
And increased abundantly,
Uh-huh.
and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mightily.
Uh-huh.
And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king.
So a new king rose up because in the past where Joseph was in rulership, everyone knew of his greatness, what he'd done for the people, for the Egyptians and the children of Israel, and he made them a mighty nation. We became a superpower as well under their hand. We were powerful. We multiplied greatly. So this new king rose up, and what did he do?
which knew not Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So he's saying to his man, yo, these people are getting big, man. Yo, they're too strong, man. I don't know.
Right.
Something might happen if they get too big. Keep going.
Verse 10, Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Yo, we gotta do something about these people, man. They're gonna mess us up one of these days. Keep going.
Lest they multiply, and it come to pass.
So, as you see, our people multiply. During this time, they were... No, I don't want to go too far. Keep going. Let you read it.
That, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
So they were afraid that we would join the enemies because we were so powerful. And we weren't thinking that, we're under pressure on these people because this is not our land. This is their land. And we just occupying it, making them great. Keep going.
And fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters.
So they set over them taskmasters. We were basically oppressed on these people now because they didn't realize how great we were. And they were afraid of us. They were afraid of the numbers that we were putting out there. We were putting up numbers. We had like 12, 30 children. As a family, it's just pumping them out left and right. Because we have multiple wives as well, but that's a different topic. That's how we've created a great nation. Keep reading.
To afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities.
God. So we built all these great nations, all these great cities under Pharaoh, which now the Egyptians have been given the credit for. In fact, Esau goes so far as says that these great cities which the Israelites built, like it's impossible for someone to make something so precise and so powerful that they can't reproduce it today. So it must have been aliens that did it. It wasn't Israel, it was aliens. They give credit to aliens but apparently don't exist, but they get the credit anyway.
Hey, the scripture say we're not of this world.
That makes sense. But keep going.
Con. Set over them taskmasters
Uh-huh.
to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities,
Uh-huh.
Pithom and Ramses.
These are famous cities to this day. Famous to this day. Keep going.
But the more they afflicted them,
Uh-huh.
the more they multiplied.
So that's crazy right there. That's the key. So we're being oppressed. We're being afflicted with hard labor. Now imagine you going out there moving these heavy bricks all day. You're in the mud gathering straws all day. When are you gonna have time to lay down with your woman? It's like, take care of business.
Right.
You're too busy. You're under so much labor. But for us though, we still made it happen. Keep going. What happened to us after that?
Therefore they did set them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Okay.
And they built for Pharaoh. Okay. Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
But the more they afflicted
The
them,
more they afflicted us,
the more they grew. They multiplied and grew.
So, even though they were oppressing us still, we were still making families. We were still producing children. We were still growing. You see this happen to us also in slavery. They set us apart. They destroyed our heritage to who we were. But we still held on to the sense of marriage and community. Our people would run away and sneak away to get married. Because they didn't want the master to know that they were married, because then he would come in and sleep with the woman. There was some colonies where they did not agree to them to get married, so they actually would sneak away and hide it. Because that's how important it was for them to be married and have children. They were following the law, even though they didn't have it fully down. They still remembered marriage was important. This is gonna play back to what we're gonna talk about later on. Keep going.
Come.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
That's funny. Think about that. They were greedy. They tried to lock us down 23 hours a day,
Right.
and yet we're still
Somehow.
making babies. Man.
Somehow we still multiplying.
Somehow, right? We're just
It's fruitful.
that blessing was there, man. We were definitely fruitful and multiplying, and that made them angry. Go ahead, you got to prove that?
Yep.
What you got?
Book of Sirach, chapter 30, and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
So yeah, we definitely taught our children, man. These people are our enemies.
Right.
See, back then we knew who the enemies were. We knew we had an enemy. But nowadays we just like, love is love, man. Love is love, brother. Let's always get along. One big melting pot. That's what America teaches right now. We're one big melting pot. We come together. We're all different cultures, different colors, all that stuff. But we're one. We're one blood. But what does that say again?
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Keep going.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
So even though we were afflicted with hard labor, a lot of us were killed because they worked us to death. We still had children. We still taught them who they were and who the enemy was. And I thought they were so mad, like, damn, another one? We just killed Pookie over there, and now you got 3 more coming up. We just stomped out Ray Ray, and here's 6 more coming up.
Got Diddy coming up.
Why wanted to stop?
Good.
But the scripture tells you that we were fruitful and multiplied. Because we were doing what the audit did. We were doing what the Most High requested of us.
Hallelujah.
And we kept going.
That reminds me, all the times in the movies, we come across quote unquote clones of the people. And whenever we have children, those are the clones of us.
Yeah,
in a sense.
nice ones too.
And the whole purpose of the clones is for the clone to kind of adapt to what, let's say the father died out because of HIV, for example. Okay? So the clone is going to come in. They're going to learn, okay, he died out because of this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down that path and learn from that. Okay,
Yeah.
he died out because of the police. I'm not going to go down that path.
Yeah.
He died out because he didn't keep the commandments. Okay, I'm going to not go down that path.
Teach your
And
children.
adapting.
Right.
So we can keep that same aspect in mind. Not necessarily cloning, but cloning.
Actually, I'm gonna have another picture. Keep going.
That goes based off, right? If you attack sport, for example, right? For example, like LeBron James, right? LeBron James is waiting for his son to be at a certain age so he could start playing basketball with him again. Well, of course, he trained his son to be better than him. You know, I mean, that's basically it. It's like you train yours to be not to make the same mistake that you make, so it could be better.
Yeah.
Everything that you're doing. That's
what we're supposed to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what basically what the captain was saying right there. You know.
Yeah, that just reminded me of some stuff I should have brought up after all. Because when I was thinking about this class, it was just basically I wanted to show the people what's happening right now, and just touch on a few topics that links to what's okay. Let me say that properly.
Go ahead.
So we see some certain things happening right now in the world, especially in America, and how it affects our people.
Right.
What I wanted to just link to was the history behind it. Like I said, it's nothing new. Nothing's new on the earth. But there's an origin of where this all come from, where it all started from. And that's what we need to examine, because you'll be surprised, like, how did we get to this point? You have to look at the past to see where we come from in the first place.
Right.
Because if you don't know your past, you won't know where you're going. And that's very important. Our people don't study history. Our people do not care about. They don't care about the history. How you not care where you come from? How you not care what your lineage is?
Right.
Nah, I'm me, bro. I'm me.
Right.
I'm God. I'm myself. Like, what?
I got an answer for that one.
No, maybe so.
But when you think about that, I don't know how the history classes were for you, growing up, but it was never really something that I could attach myself to. Okay, it's kind of hard to accept. Okay, well, as they taught us, all I knew was we were slaves, and then that's where we really stopped.
Right.
So whenever someone comes in with the okay, you're a diaspora, you're a king, you're a god, so on and so forth. Oh, this is something new. This is something that I haven't heard before. Okay, I can align with this a little bit more than what they were telling me before.
Right.
Yeah.
That making it appealing, making it to where the people, they want to and can see themselves within these scriptures. That's how we make the history more
appealing,
more tantalating, enticing, appealing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So when it comes to that point, like backing off what you said, when I came to this country, one of my favorite subjects was history, or I believe it was social studies. You learned about different. Most of the time, learn about countries and stuff like that, and geography. Those are my favorite subjects because I'm terrible at math. Reading was good, but it was boring. So learning about history and different cultures, that was the best thing to me. And I remember the thought of saying, when I learned about slavery, like, they never went past we were slaves. And for the longest time, I think I was in high school, I used to dwell on that, like, what is done about slaves? Like, what's the point? I can just, I'm seeing other nations talking about, they had legendary heroes. They were,
you got the Zhou dynasty, the Ming dynasty.
They got Moab, or the Chinese people had a wonderful history. The Africans had a history. The Romans, the Greeks, they had a history. The Japanese, to me, was one of my favorite people to learn about. The Japanese, they had a great history, great language. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. They had this thing called honor. And it was very important that you had your honor. Like, you couldn't lose that. I'm thinking to myself, when I used to watch people shows where they depicted someone choosing to have their honor and die versus hightail and run, lose the honor, but you're alive. I'm like, I'd rather be alive. But the honor was so important because that's something they had from their culture. Because when you lost your honor for whatever reason, it usually was disrespecting your ancestors, your family, because they had that bond. I'm like, we niggas, we're slaves, brother.
Right.
That ain't nothing to be proud of.
Right.
Who cares? So knowing now that when you go into the scriptures, that's our history. It's talking about us. Those people in the Bible, those are our ancestors, and they put in work for the Most High. They had love and respect and honor for their power. Like, we don't have a tenth of that right now with our people. Our people don't even, like I said, they don't even care who they are. But this is why I'm touching on this subject again, because when it comes to history, this is very important. We have to know our history. Otherwise, we're going to be lost in the sauce like we are right now.
Right.
Because if we don't know our, say, sin, if you don't know what sin is, how you know you're committing sin or not?
Right.
That's one of the topics I learned from Buddy Yo when I was coming into this truth. Like, if you don't know you're sinning, if you don't know what sin is, how you know if you're sinning or not? I was like, yo, that's a great point. Because when you read the way you just sin is dead, I'm like, yo, I need to know what sin is. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something so simple, but it carries a lot of weight to it.
Right.
You got something to say? Let me talk all
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
I can do that.
No, that's fine. For basically what you were saying is like that's basically all we know is right.
Mm-hmm.
Our history is like it stopped from the schooling. Like prior to that, what was you speaking? You know what I mean? Like what language we had, all that stuff.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's
You know
the
what I mean?
past
It's like-
now. It's
right.
the past. That's a different topic. When it says when we talk about history, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But when it comes to Esau, you gotta remember everything.
Everything about it.
Everything.
You know?
Remember the Alamo.
Exactly.
Remember 9/11. Remember this foot that was taken. Go get it back. You'll
Yes.
never forget their stuff, but your stuff,
Yeah,
forget it, man.
all we know is slave.
It's the
besides
past.
what's
Let it
going
go,
on
man.
besides being the slave.
Oh,
Like that
y'all
same thing
boring,
Captain
man.
was saying, right?
Yeah.
That like when after they got the whole Egyptology coming in after that, right?
Mhm.
Who was king, who was queen, this
Yeah.
and the third. So that's where you see a lot of brothers start following this doctrine they got going on, like start having certain tattoos, start having Nefertiti. What I
Yep.
forgot the
We're
name.
sin- we're sinning.
You know,
We're
we're
sinning.
sinning. Right.
We don't
It's
know
like,
it.
we don't know because we're still searching for the one thing
We're
that
serving these
looking
other
for.
gods.
Right.
We're sinning.
Right.
Again, that's how important it is.
Cut.
Oh, you got first second? Okay.
Go ahead.
It's a couple. It's 2. So Judges chapter 2 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Then we'll jump down to 19.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods,
Right.
and bowed themselves unto them.
Mm-hmm.
They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Most High, but they did not so. Verse 19. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers.
Where's my golden calf?
More than their fathers.
Right.
Where's Statue by all? Yeah, I can dust it off again. I gotta put some food in front of it.
Right. More than their fathers.
Yo, it's his history.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if any of our people have read the Book of Judges. Can you see how many people online right now if they're watching? I want to ask them some
About 4 of
questions. I want to make sure you put. Oh, look at my phone too. Go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead. Okay. In following and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way.
But
That's
Yeah,
that's-
it is. Got it right here.
we do not want to do that.
Okay, let's start. Hold on.
uh,
Okay, so when it comes to that now, I sorry I missed the whole thing. I'm sorry. I called someone else. Let me jump back because I had a nice little presentation. I want to mess it up. So we just read the history, not the full history. We didn't go through the full thing, but go back to that. Jump down to Exodus 1 verse 16. Let's get to the point.
Book of Exodus,
Yeah,
chapter 1,
verse 16.
verse 13.
16. Is it 16?
Verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife.
So this is Pharaoh speaking to the Hebrew women, who that's the midwives. Get on?
To the Hebrew women.
Yes.
And he set them upon the stools.
Mm-hmm.
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
To what?
Ye shall kill him.
Why? Why did they kill the sons? Because you know the son is the one that carries the seed, that carries on the family.
right.
Without the sons there or the men, you know that nation's going to be destroyed. Now I had a comment from earlier when we did the first class because we had to change it out. It says it takes 2 to make a baby. Yeah, it takes 2 to make a baby, but who decides if that baby lives or dies? Is it us men, or is it the women that have the choice? Because it's their choice.
Right.
If we wanted to walk away from a child, we'll get hit with what's that thing called again? Child support. We might get hit with prison time. We no matter what we do, we cannot walk away from a child. But as a woman, we can decide if it lives or dies. You can put it up for adoption. You can drop the baby off at certain places and they collect the baby for you.
Right.
And you have no penalties. You don't pay child support. You have no responsibility. So this whole thing right here with Roe v. Wade, I'm glad it's done. Because there's a lot of women were being just irresponsible. Because they were making babies left and right. But they can't marry the person, though. But they can have his baby. But they can't think to marry him. He wasn't good enough to marry. But he's good enough to carry for. And he didn't put a ring on your finger or nothing. But that was okay. So when you got upset with a man or you didn't want to deal with the responsibility, you can say, you know what? I'm going to go Planned Parenthood. Handle some business. 5 minutes later, you're done. You don't care about the man who won the child. You don't care about the family that's going to be affected by it. You don't give a crap about none of that. So you just drop it off and go. You're good. So the choice was on them because it's their body, their choice. The minute a man puts his seed in a woman, he has no legal rights to that child. Nothing. And you can call me on it if you want to, but there's thousands of people that's dealing with this stuff right now, if not more.
I give you time when you can visit your kids.
Yeah.
You
don't have as a man you don't have no parental rights. You have nothing. No, it's all decided by the women.
Right.
So, but that's a different topic. I'm just glad that Planned Parenthood took an L on this one today, because their whole point was to destroy our people and convince them to do it as a good thing. If you know anything about history, if you go, there's a documentary called MAFA 21. They go through detailed reporting, detailed history and searching to give you all the facts on the origin of Planned Parenthood, which is the eugenics movement, all the way to this right now.
Wow.
This is one of the biggest funding, the government funded program, one of the biggest government funders they have right now, besides the military. It's the military and then Planned Parenthood. Think about that.
Wow.
Planned Parenthood is number 2 under what? The military. Now you tell me why they need to have all that funding for, if all they're just doing is just regular checkups and healthcare for women. So about all those children they're destroying. I have like I said, I have from the documentary. I have something on that. This one, the statistics they have. This documentary was made in 2009. Okay, I can't zoom into it. So it says since 1973, when legal abortion was put into effect, legal abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. And that was from 1973 to 2009 when the documentary was released. Wow. That's a huge. That's just one of our members, so-called African Americans. So I don't care nothing about this Planned Parenthood. Oh, read it more. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
Judah, Gad.
Yeah, all of them. So they did a comparison about Planned Parenthoods, where they are. Because they said it was in poor communities because these people weren't mentally fit to have children. They weren't mentally fit to have children, so you should just get rid of them. They had forced sterilization on our people, men and women. That's something that they did back in slavery. They did it back in the 1970s also, 1980s also. Now they have Planned Parenthood where we just do it ourselves. Just get rid of your own children. You don't need them. Wow. You can go be irresponsible. Don't vet the person you're with. Don't see him as marriage material, but you can have his baby though. And if it don't work out, just get rid of the damn baby and start over again. Wow. Start somewhere new. But not talking about the effects of how it destroys the womb. When you have to have hysterectomies to get rid of your womb, now you can't have children at all. Now you're screwed. So the one opportunity the most I gave you to have children, you destroyed it because you were irresponsible with it. And women will get mad about it. I don't care if they get mad about it, because it's facts. It's not every woman that was doing that, but a lot of our women were doing it. And are still doing it to this day. And now they're mad because they can't do it no more. Now they have to be more responsible. They have over 37 different contraceptives. Why aren't you using them? If that's the case. If you don't want to have a baby, use them. But that's a different topic. I'm going to go off on that. Yeah. So let me stop.
Let's stick to it.
Yeah, let me stop. I have notes for a reason, so let me stick to that. So we read the history, right? So the common talking points that they have when it came to Planned Parenthood or Roe v. Wade, right? It was pro-choice. It's their choice. Their body, their choice, right? They said that the termination is healthcare. It's healthcare. when you kill that baby, it's healthcare. What kind of crock of crap is that? Um, they said they did it because it was they were raped, or because of incest, or they saw that the baby was gonna have serious birth defects. So that nah, not me. Did the whole Drake thing.
Right.
I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that because they have this thing where you can it's called designer babies. So now before the baby is born, you can see what the baby's gonna have, what it's gonna be prone to have, all that stuff. You can see everything about the baby. Yeah, you can design your baby. So this is part of it where you say they can see the defects. Like, nah, I don't want that.
Yep.
And last thing, because for whatever reason they had a baby and it just changed their mind, they can just do that. Because again, as you as a man, say you wanted to have a child, right, with this woman,
Right.
and she said, "I'm not ready." There's nothing you can do to stop her if she want to kill that baby.
Right.
Nothing you can do because it's her choice. So you can beg and cry and plead all you want. She gonna say, "No, I'm good. I don't want that." But the minute she says, "I want to have a baby," I say, "You don't want to have a baby." She decides anyway. She make you a father whenever she wants to, and now you're subject to all the ramifications that comes with that. Child support. You might get locked up if you refuse to pay. All kind of stuff. Because it's a huge can of worms. But I'm gonna go to the next point because I have lots more to talk about. Okay. All right. So I have another topic I want to talk about. It's gonna be the feminization of our black men. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news. Joe Biden, he's holding back school funds for lunches in poor neighborhoods, in poor communities, so that they can push transgender policies. You can pull up the video for that one. And I want you to know again that this is let's go scroll down some more. All the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. There you go, that one. So I want you guys to see what's going on right now.
For the federal government to come in and really tie school nutrition and lunch programs to this radical ideology is terrifying and it's appalling. The changes that the Biden administration is making to the school lunch program, which essentially amounts to the Biden administration holding states and school districts hostage with lunch money that goes to underprivileged youth. In order to pass transgender non-discrimination policies, as they call them. And it means that if the school does not create a policy that allows boys to use their own bathroom, locker rooms, facilities. This school lunch program. How big is the scope of this program? It's going to apply to all government schools. It's also going to apply to any private schools that may take advantage of this lunch program. When you're looking at the USDA press release, and the USDA press release essentially telling local school districts what they must do and how they must operate, is a vast overreach of federal power in what should be for the federal government to come in and really tie school nutrition and school lunch programs to this radical ideology is terrifying and it's appalling. The changes that the Biden administration is making to the school lunch program, which essentially amounts to the Biden administration holding states and local school districts hostage with school lunch money that goes to underprivileged youth in order to pass transgender non-discrimination policies, as they call them. And this means that if a school does not create a policy that allows biological boys to use a girl's bathroom or locker room or facilities and vice versa, then they would have their funding pulled for this school lunch program. How big is the scope of this program? It's going to apply to all government schools. It's also going to apply to any private schools that may take advantage of this lunch program. When you're looking at, the USDA press release, and the USDA press release essentially telling local school districts what they must do and how they must operate, is a vast overreach of federal power in what should be very local. It is clear what they are trying to do here.
Okay, so hope you all heard that video. This is just half the video right now. So they are pushing transgender policies on these schools so that they can make these LGBTQ XYZ W23 people feel like they're part of it, part of something. But as we know, these children are starving. A lot of these times, these are children that only eat when they go to school. The program is already it's not perfect already because it's a tier system where some people eat for free and some people have to pay full price. I'm not going to argue about that part because that's the scope of the video. But why are you holding children hostage to push an agenda that no one asked for? Or you're pushing the agenda so that only a certain minority of people can feel that they have power over the rest of us? Because if you want to be a transformer, that's you. If you want to be a bulldagger, that's you. But why are you forcing it on regular people? Why are you forcing it on children? Why are you holding them hostage to push the agenda? And like I said before, this is nothing new. We talked earlier about the termination bill, right? I've been saying it the other word this whole time, but anyway. What I learned doing the research for the videos, that this is not the first time America has done this. They've done this on a worldwide scale. Why do you think certain countries, say like in Africa or other third world countries, not in Africa's not a third world country, but other places where they didn't tolerate homosexuality, now they tolerate homosexuality? Because America has bullied them into accepting their worldview. They push it on other nations. When I was doing the research for the termination bill, I learned that in Haiti, of all places, where they had huge water crisis because of the hurricanes and the storms, right? America wouldn't help them unless they adopted the principle of Planned Parenthood, of vaccinating of sterilizing young women, or giving them more contraceptives, or having them accept terminations, because that's the only way America is going to help them. America literally twisted their arm in a crisis and forced them to take on their policies, to the point they were saying that there is more termination clinics and policies over there in Haiti when there is fresh, clean water. How does that make sense? As the guy made a contrast, imagine if that was France or England or one of their partners. They wouldn't dare do that, because that'd be a war. How dare you push your policies that crisis when people are desperate? And you tell them to take on homosexuality, take on terminations. Wow. That's the only way you're going to help them. And that's how America works. They bully these people. They're pushing their policies. But why? This is not anything new. We just target it to our people. Right. We're not doing that in England. They're not going to do that to England. They're going to damn near do it to Russia.
They're doing it to China.
But they're doing it to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Because these are nations where you look up where these policies have been pushed the most. You see that they're being pushed to our people, on us the whole time. Right. So I had a few things I want to talk about. My bad. A few things I want to talk about was basically bug breaking. Now, if you know anything about, let me share the screen. Okay, let's do this screen. Okay, Israel, I'm gonna share my notes with y'all so you can see it. Let's go to this one. Okay. Okay. 1 second, Israel. Doing little light movements. Good. Okay, so you see, I got my notes right here. So bug breaking. So this is from an article I found online, and it's on the feminization of black boys and men. Tesla, can you read that for us, man? Right on the screen right there. Or save them here. Read it right here on my screen.
Okay, it said, what is buck breaking?
So buck breaking, read that.
Mainly utilized by slave owners in the Caribbean. Buck breaking was used.
Go ahead, same thing.
No, it's bigger, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Buck breaking was used against male slaves who were seen as defiant.
A what?
Defiant.
Uh-huh.
The process involved the slave owner forcing the enslaved man to lower his pants
Uh-huh.
and bend over a tree stump to ensure that his buttock would prop up into the air.
Uh-huh.
The enslaved man would then be flogged severely.
Severely, yes. Uh-huh.
This would weaken him to that he would not be able to resist the rape.
So stop right there. So this is what they did back in the past, correct? Mm-hmm. Talking about buck breaking. Now, what do we see when our young men get into the prison system? What happens to them?
The pants start sagging.
They start saying what?
Start sagging.
So, but what happens when they first go in there to them?
Bend over.
They what?
They bend them over.
But how to do it though? As you saw this now, they flogged them.
Yep.
So he couldn't resist.
Right.
And what happens after that? Keep reading. This would weaken him.
This would weaken him so that he would not be able to resist the rape that followed.
That's right. Keep going.
The white slave owner would then proceed to rape the slave.
Who?
The white slave owner would then proceed to rape.
Stop right there. Who owns these prison systems right now?
White man.
And what happens to our people when they go into prison? They get what?
They get raped.
They get raped, right? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. This happened in the past though with the slave owners. It's crazy how it happens now. The same thing happens now, right? Keep reading.
Let me start over. It says the white man slave owner would then proceed to rape the slaves several times.
Uh-huh.
This form of punishment was worsened by the fact that it would be done in full view of all the other enslaved people, including the slave's family and friends.
Uh-huh.
And in addition to being sexually violated, the slave would also be
publicly
humiliated.
Uh-huh.
This public punishment would instill fear in other slaves, and thus prevent any further rebellion.
Stop right there. So we see that it's a tactic that they used in the past to break our men. The strong man, the buck was the strong man. The guy you would have messed with right there. And this weak little slave owner was like, "Come here, boy." He would bend him over, had other slaves hold him down or tie him down, bring his whole family there, and proceed to rape him in front of his family.
That is crazy.
To demoralize or emasculate the man. Keep reading. Let's see what happens after that.
Enslaved men who were victims of this vile punishment often ran away from the plantation or killed themselves as they were unable to deal with the humiliation that they have suffered. It was often too difficult for them to integrate back into society that had watched them being emasculated in front of their wives, children, and friends.
Stop right there. But we know that happens to this day because when you go in the prison system, that's when the first thing they do when they see you fresh meat.
Right.
They beat you down, they break you, and then they destroy you like that in the prison. A lot of them that come out, they try to reintegrate back into the world, but we know because how the stigma of homosexuality, especially in our neighborhoods, we don't play that. So we have a lot of our men that's undercover. You feel me? And that evil festers and it starts to spread to other people because they do the same thing. Especially when you're going back and forth in the prison. That's what happens to our men. Keep reading. Buck breaking.
What up a little bit?
Right here.
Buck breaking as a form of punishment grew among slaves owners in the Caribbean. White men were able to travel from plantation to plantation, raping male slaves.
Wait, doing what?
They were traveling plantation to plantation, raping male slaves.
So, I didn't get to put the source. I just remembered it just now. Homosexuality was considered a mental illness back in the day. Okay, up until I think the 1960s. Right. If you know anything about Milk, that guy, he was a homosexual. He fought for the homosexual rights, and around that time was what they removed it from the national. I can't remember what the thing is called. Basically, it's a database where they had mental illness, and they got rid of it. That's when homosexuality started becoming big in America, and they were exploding. So people that were undercover, like rich men, politicians, all that stuff, they were at risk of being exposed. But now that because that thing was gone now, things started to come out slowly but surely. But they always knew that there people were homosexuals back in the day, because you had like Studio 60, where they had coke parties, big old lines of orgies, all that stuff going on, and there was a gay men doing that, and they weren't hiding it. It was a big thing. But it's back from the past though they were doing this. But I want to read the point about this. Keep reading. Go back to the topic again. Buck breaking again.
Buck breaking as a form of punishment grew among slave owners in the Caribbean. White men were able to travel from plantation to plantation raping male slaves. The punishment became so widely implemented that sex forms developed from the practice. This sex form allowed multiple slave owners to gang rape male slaves as punishment for any supposed wrongdoing.
Was that a punishment, or someone's trying to get off? What does that sound like to you? You got precept? Okay, go ahead, bring that up. Like I think I don't know if I got the point in there about how. Yeah, it's in there. I want you to read this point because I'm going from the past to show this. I couldn't get the guy's name, William Lynch. He talked about that in his thing as well. About how you would buck break the man in front of his family, and because the woman would see her man get physically dominated and destroy that. That she was afraid, that she would teach her young ones to be afraid and do the same thing. He became feminized after that. Because he couldn't be allowed to be a man because he'd get killed. They literally beat and raped the fear into our people. These are the years of trauma that we've been through. And it's going to culminate now into the future, what's happening to this day. I want to touch on the past first. What you got, Cap?
I'm not going to pull this one.
Okay. You got a precept, please?
Yeah, I got a few precepts.
Oh, you do? I'm sure. Go ahead.
On this situation right here. By reading this, man, it shows you who the wicked are, right?
God.
It shows you Esau is the wicked. It's the wicked the Bible speaks of.
Trust me, there's more. There's more.
Before I get into that, let's go to Revelation 11 and 8 first.
Yep, that's one of the precepts I didn't put in there, but I was going to mention it. Revelation 11 and 8. Okay. In your Bible, hold this. In the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 8. And it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Called what?
Sodom and Egypt.
So we all know the history of Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
That's right.
The Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's right.
And Egypt is the same concept America is doing. It's the same thing that was happening in Egypt. America is doing the same thing all over again.
Correct.
America, took the not doctrine, but I forgot the word I'm looking for. The words right on my tongue. But let's just say, okay, America took the concept that was going in Egypt and bring it back to this land. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
They know who we are.
Right. They know who we are. So this is what's going on. So it's like the scripture, like you say on Ecclesiastes, right? 1:9 says, "It's nothing new under the sun." Correct. So like, Captain, may I please get Amos 9 and 8, and you give me Wisdom of Solomon.
Good. I'm get Amos.
You get Amos. Oh, so like I guess you get Amos. You get Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12.
Amos, what you want again?
9 and 8. Right. America is done. America is destroying the children of Israel. Right. Go ahead.
This book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 8.
Read.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord, that's the Most High Yahweh, are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
This is what's going on. The Most High eyes is upon the sinful kingdom, America. Right. America is going to get destroyed for what's happening right now.
That's right.
The Most High is not playing with this kingdom, as Captain be saying, with this kingdom, right? So the Most High gonna destroy this land, right? So read that again, Bible Shaw.
This book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Most High Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
You come to America, you could be who you are. You could be whatever you want to be. A man sleeping with man, female sleeping with female. That's abomination. That's abominable. The Most High hates things like this, right? So this shouldn't be happening for our people. But America is destroying our people. Matter of fact, let me get Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
For the bewitching of naughtiness.
You see that? It says the bewitching. That's what it is. America's bewitching our folks, our people, of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? What America is doing by reaching them is it tricks them to turn that as you could be a transgender, it'll be okay.
Transformers.
Right? You could be a transformer, it'll be okay. Right? You could be sleeping with man, it'll be okay.
Come.
That's what it is. Keep reading.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence.
Concupiscence, right? What's that mean? It's like it's the burn of lust. This is what's going on to our people. It's like they see another man walking down. They got this lust thing. They could be sleeping with this man.
That's what said the Romans, man.
Right. That's
burn their lust.
They burn their lust, right? Keep reading.
Doth undermine the simple mind.
The simple mind. The Bible is simple. The Most High give you the structure how to deal with how to read the Bible.
All you say is just read.
All you say is just read, correct? So that's what I'm saying. What's going on with our people? Our people following the doctrine of this land. Like if you go to Genesis 2 and 18, Bible Kashab. Because the Bible is simple for us to read. It's not that hard because we should know what's right from wrong. Right?
Okay,
Like the brother is saying, once you know better, you do better.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the 2 and 18 Bible Kashab.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 18.
Bring it out.
And the Most High Power
Uh-huh.
said, it is not good that man should be alone.
Right? That's structure right. Read.
I will make him an helpmeet
Uh-huh.
for him.
Read.
And out of the ground the Most High formed every beast of the field. Keep reading.
Keep reading.
And every fowl of the air. And brought them unto Adam
Okay.
to see.
So like, keep going. Keep
I mean, it's 22. You mean 22?
I believe it's 22. Come.
Yeah, it's 21 to 22.
22.
Yeah, come.
And the rib which the Most High Power had taken from man, made he a woman.
Made he a what?
Made he a woman.
See, that's simple. The Most High made it's simple. Like it's like man and man should not be together. The Most High made a woman for a man as a helpmate.
Said man shouldn't be alone.
Man
Said
shouldn't be. Yeah.
He's a woman.
He's a woman.
Done.
Yeah, he didn't give a man to be with. He gave you a woman to be with.
Adam.
Yeah.
Meet Steve.
Yeah, like they didn't even know Steve and Adam.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The Most I give you a woman to
Give
be
you a
with.
beautiful woman,
A beautiful
too.
sister. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Beautiful, man.
right.
So,
You know what I'm saying? That's structure right there, man. That's simple. The Bible is simple for you to read. It's like you read this Bible, man. That's the best instruction before leaving Earth.
Yeah, the
You know
scripture
what I mean?
says man wanted to wish for women. He said about for men.
It didn't say about the man, right? So let me finish with this one. So like, let me get Matthew 19 and 4.
Let's see this baby can handle it. Matthew
Because even though Mashiach House create Savior, right?
19 and 4?
Come, start with 4.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read? That which made them...
What? See, your house going back into the beginning. It said, have you not read? Read.
That he which made them at the beginning made male and female.
See that? There it is. It didn't say I make male versus messy. I make male and female. So there shouldn't be no confusion going on. Right?
How are you going to reproduce another man?
Right.
That's impossible.
That's impossible for it to happen.
Impossible.
Your house just say and from the beginning made male and female.
But this is what I want to show the history because scripture says that Esau is violent in the earth, right? He's a low form of man. He's not even a man. So I want you to keep reading this point. He's going to touch on these few things. So right here from these sex forms.
Let me start. It said this sex form allowed multiple slave owners to gang rape male slave as punishment for.
Now notice. He said one of female slaves.
Right.
Keep going.
As punishment for any supposed.
Supposed. That's a key word. Supposed. Cause you could just mind your own business. Keep some dirt. Esau. You assaulted me.
Right.
Get in this dungeon. I'm gonna call my boys.
Oh man.
Teach you a lesson. That's Esau. Keep going.
For any supposed wrongdoing that it committed. That the massive popularity of the practice suggests that buck breaking may have been utilized as an outlet.
As a what?
As an outlet
for
homosexual.
For what?
For homosexual.
Wait a minute. Aren't these good Christian men?
Homosexual.
Homosexuality. Keep going.
Homosexual slave owners to act out their sexual desire on men.
So this thing that he used as punishment was them just hiding who they were in the beginning.
Right.
But keep going. She lays it out perfectly because I couldn't find the other guy's book, whatever his name is. So this article worked perfectly.
Without attracting the stigma associated with being gay. We all see that.
Yeah.
Homosexuality during this era would have been shunned, but shockingly, raping male slave as a form of punishment was acceptable.
How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
This is
why Esau is disgusting, bro.
This is the most. Listen, man.
And they're the same ones who do it to this day in the prison system because they're the ones that own it. They don't want to condone these actions because at any time they can stop that from happening to prisoners. Right. And it's a well-known fact that when you go into prison, these guards hear what's happening. They know what's happening, but they do nothing to stop it.
I got a precept on this.
They do nothing to stop it. And we all know the majority of people in prison are our people. It's Judah and Ephraim. Those are our people that's locked up in prison. And Issachar. And then when these people come out and they've been tainted, that taint spreads. Because now you with your family, with someone new, like, listen, accept me for who I am.
Right.
Because Christianity says, just accept me for who I am.
I got a precept.
And that's what they spread. Go ahead, what you got?
You can break it down if you like. This is the book of Psalm chapter 58, verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born.
That's Esau from the get-go.
From the get-go.
We know they were off with it because Moses said that their spirit's not upright in them. He made them that way. He know what he created. He created a vessel to honor and a vessel to dishonor. They were the dishonor. They were created to be destroyed because we know who they are. Because they hide. They try to hide and sliver around. They're a vagabond in the earth for a reason, man. Because they're always on the run. Like, they won't notice me if I put this on.
Right.
They won't notice me if I say this. But we know they're always hiding who they are. But most I said that they're... Wait one more time?
The wicked are estranged
from the womb.
From the womb.
That's right.
They go astray as soon as they be born.
They go astray because they're punishing men by acting out their desires. I call it punishment. Like, really? I'm going to punish you with my 4 friends.
Right. See?
Like, come on, man. And this is what is spreading to our people now. Because the reason why I bring this article up again, you always got to know where it's coming from. Where this originated from. So I put at the bottom, it says, if it don't get you the first time, ... Right? So we scroll down here.
Yes, if it don't get you the first time.
They all see my notes, so it's okay. So it says that the man that locked behind bars of Joe Biden's 3 strikes law. Joe Biden is the one that created the crime bill. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Let's see if you can use this thing. There you go. Yeah, Joe Biden is the one that created the crime bill. He's the one that pushed that on our people. Right. 3 strikes law, mandatory minimums. He's the one that locked up generations of our people. Now, who was raising these children when the men were gone? It's our women, right?
Right.
They did the best they could. But what happened to those men?
Right, it becomes effeminate, man.
They're very effeminate.
Yeah. So
now these same people are the ones that's very emotional, right? You can't even have a conversation. You get mad. They pull out the strap and start shooting. Instead of dealing with you like men, like the scripture says, you have an art with your brother. You speak to him alone. If that don't work, you bring some other brothers. You speak to him that way. But you don't just like get the strap, start shooting.
That's evil as Esau, man. Listen, Esau find the strongest brother during slavery, right?
Yeah, of course.
Do that too.
Yeah. Because again, they don't have. What else could they do? They're vile, man. They use the worst things they can think of because our people won't do that to them. No. Imagine if roles were reversed. You think 3 grown ass Israelite men gonna say, "Yo, Esau, we're gonna punish you this way. Come inside the house."
So, with that,
it's crazy.
These things don't even come across my mind.
Does it, right?
This is it's a bad time to eat.
No.
Shouldn't have ate before.
Yeah.
No, listen. There's more. There's more articles about the history about what they used to do to our people like this, man. They used to do worse things, man. Like all kind of probing in our orifices they were doing. Like they were doing some freaky stuff, man. Under the guise of punishment, people. Under the guise of punishment, they were doing this. They did some horrible stuff to our women also. A lot of, when it comes to the OBGYN, the reason why they have they know how to operate a woman's body because they operate on our women while they were alive. Right. They were just going in there, cutting, prodding, tearing, shoving everything to our women.
Right.
Towards where you have the modern healthcare for women now.
Medicine at all.
No. Pain medicine.
Nothing.
They didn't get water.
Nope.
Like, they did them dirty, man. But to our men, this is what they were doing. They were having this their good old time with our men.
See, this is what the Most High says. You got to separate yourself from these people for a good reason, right?
Well, we can't. We can't. Because we're still in captivity. We're still in their captivity at that.
Well,
do the best you can.
Yeah, of course, you do the best you can, but that's all I'm going to say is that.
Yeah. You can, though.
Yes, you can.
Well, it's good if that's where you got to stick to the script, right? Let me get Proverb. Let me read it. Proverb 11 and 21, right? Mm-hmm. That's what basically what I was saying. Is like you got to separate yourself from these people because it says, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered."
Well, they're going to get punished because Scripture tells us that.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though, because the one that's keep joining hands, right, with these demons for what they've done to our forefathers and us, still doing to us.
They don't care about that.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta separate yourself from these people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to touch on this thing right here.
Go ahead. Go.
Okay. So right here, read that for me.
Which one?
This one.
Yes, the sagging law, right?
The sagging law. Go ahead.
It's anyone who violates the sagging law can be issued if fined not to exceed $100, and up to one 8-hour day picking up trash or refused, or performing other court-approved community service activities. For the second offense, a person can be issued a fine of $150 and 2 days of community service.
Keep reading.
If they don't,
second law, second
same one?
Second pants, yeah.
Oh, second pence law. Black men make up 90% of arrest.
So when they had this law on the books, I think it was 2018, 2019, or 2020 it ended. They had to repeal it because it was targeting our people. Our people predominantly sag their pants. They got their influence from people that went to prison, or they use it as a style now. So everyone does. So when they enacted this law, they had over 97% arrest rate, and for our men. So a lot of them were going to jail. They were getting unlawfully searched. All kind of stuff that was happening to them. But why does it touch on this thing? Because again, this is a stigma from going to the prison system with sagging your pants. Right. And you know the phrase, if you're sagging, you know the rest, right?
You know, somebody showed me something, right? It said if you flip the word sagging backwards, what does it say?
I don't know that.
You ever done that?
No.
Sagging backwards, what it literally says. It says niggas. It's crazy, ain't it?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I see it now.
I'm like, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Stop, niggas. That's what it is.
Stop the cat.
Yeah. That's going on.
Okay, so where is it now? So I mentioned all these things now about. I mentioned talking about Biden pushing transgender. It's his transgender policies in school. What does that do with prison? We know that in America they have a school to prison pipeline where they condition our children how to move as if they were in prison. Because you go to any of these public schools where our people predominantly are, they have armed police guards. They have metal detectors. The way you move there is like you would move in prison. You get conditioned to it. They have the bells that ring where you got to change your shift or go to a different class. Activities you have when you go into a prison. When the bell rings, a door is open so you can move someplace else. So on and so forth. It rings for every time you got to go somewhere. So I'll touch on that point. Now, the next part of it is going to be this right here. I want you to read this part for me, okay? So right here, feminizing black men and assault on black manhood. This is a quote from a Dr. Muhammad.
Dr. Muhammad, he said, and I quote, it says, the hood suffers from estrogen dominance, said Dr. Muhammad. That's why there's so much not just homosexuality, but the mild feminization that is really disastrous for us. Healing excessive mood swings in men who can't seem to get their emotion under control and easily resort to gun violence to elevate levels of estrogens in predominantly black communities. Even food as being weaponized against blacks, said Dr. Muhammad.
Yeah, that's just a snippet from his whole presentation. Even the food that we eat is a weapon. It's a weapon against us. The drinks, the food, the candies, everything is an assault on our people.
It sure is.
Because we are still at war. And this is just a tactic they use also to destroy our men in the modern day.
That's beautiful, man. You say that, Cap. Officer Barzal.
You call him priest. Go ahead.
Officer Barzal, it's beautiful you say that because it is. Even the thing that we use is a weapon against us. Like how Captain Cap right there.
Yeah.
He's the how they be saying that to school?
The veganizer.
The veganizer, you know what I'm saying? He got me going like even when I go to the shop now, like I'm in the back of the little thing looking for anything now. Okay, what do I see it now? This said gelatin on now. Now we can't eat that. It's like Esau, man. Esau is wicked. Esau is wicked. Esau going down for what it did to the 12 tribe of Israel, man. So like, go ahead, keep going.
I want you to read that to me, Isaiah
3:12.
Yeah. This was touching on because the men of our generation are gone. And now we have this effeminate men and men or boys trying to be men because we were never taught the principle what's supposed to be a man, what you're supposed to be doing. We learned that stuff from TV. We learned that stuff from like people like Bill Cosby, who was called America's dad. Now look how they destroyed his reputation now.
That fast, like that.
Yeah, like who is he now? That the one person we can look up to as a positive role model. Destroyed.
It's a lot. I just read an article about how they're trying to get him back again because it's just saying that he slept with a 16-year-old girl.
Now, how does that make sense? Because I know the article she's speaking about. I've seen it all over the web. So they're saying that Bill Cosby brought a 16-year-old girl to the Playboy Mansion during the time in the 70s where there were girls pretending to be adults, whatever, like 14, 15, 16 years old, all over the Playboy Mansion. But no one said anything about Hefner.
Yeah, right.
He was the owner, the proprietor of that establishment.
Was he? Is he still around?
No, he's dead. But mum's the word, though. They said nothing about him. Now, one woman from back then said, oh, he did this to me. He made me do that. I wore these outfits. No one said anything, but magically, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, of all the people, Bill Cosby. Same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. We know that he had he was running child sex rings in his private island. How many celebrities went to his island? Went on his private plane called the Lolita Express. But you know who was there too?
Who?
Bill Clinton was there.
Really?
He was a freaking flyer to that place.
Really?
No one said anything about him.
Of course not.
But Bill Cosby though. All these other people that was doing these kind of things in the industry, but Bill Cosby, are the older people. That made no sense. And how would a 16-year-old get there again and no one asked for ID? Or that wasn't a thing then because they didn't care about that. Because that was the norm for them to do that stuff. Because we know Esau's the devil. But go ahead, get that scripture for me. I get through this all day. I don't want to.
Go ahead. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. And it says, as for my people, children are the oppressors, and women rule over them. Or my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err.
So we cause our children to error. Now they're monsters. They terrify us now. Because now they're like 47,000 genders. They're gangbangers in the street doing all this madness. And who's ruling over them?
Right.
Where the father... Look at all these stories where these children doing these messed up things. Where's that at in that picture? Right. Where do you ever see him? All you ever see is the mom. Now the mom tried their best, but you cannot do it without a man. You need to have a man in the children's life. But they say, I can do it by myself.
Right.
I don't need a man. But they got the government just giving them money though. because they're independent.
Let's focus.
So, I want you to get these right here. It's the last few things. So, this is what it's come down to. They get you as an adult, but they lock you up. They make you come comfortable with seeing it because they have stuff like Tyler Perry, how they masculine men. You got comedians wearing dresses, right? We know that. I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 22 is 5.
Deuteronomy 22. You got it?
Yeah, because that's a point I was gonna make too. Like this is stuff that they're pushing, and now people don't see it because it becomes normalized. They're normalizing it, little by little. They push it to become. I mean, it's not that bad. There's a guy wearing a dress. It's no big deal. You know, it's a celebrity, you know, who has influence on lots of people. He's doing it, so it's okay. If he can do it, I can do it too. Like, it's a lot. Let me get that scripture 22 and 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So we know that clothes have a spirit. You have a masculine spirit and a feminine spirit. Some of our people, they don't like to wear clothes as a sign to them because, you know, they're saying that it's not my gender. It's a gender norm, or it's a construct. So they don't believe in that stuff. But we know that our clothes have spirits on them. And it's more told do not put these on if it doesn't belong to you. This is what they're doing right now. It's just a step by step destroy our people. So Obama in 2015, he praised the Supreme Court for legalizing gay marriages. That become a thing that's normal now. Cause now you see it on TV everywhere. They have these couples, these homosexual couples, on daytime TV. It's become a normalized thing now. It's like it's nothing new. We have a program or I say group that was supposed to be about Black Lives Matter, right? I want you to read their mission statement before they changed it back in the day. I can't remember what it was. So I want you to read this mission statement of theirs. Okay? Okay, let's go on to it. So here we go. I want you to read this part, this quote. This is from the mission statement.
Okay, it says...
We disrupt. No, scroll down. You just being quotations. We disrupt right there in the middle.
Okay, it is right there. Okay.
Yeah.
It says that we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. We disrupt the Western described nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended family and villages, and collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable.
So what are they talking about? They're comfortable with. If you know the people that's the head of the Black Lives Matters, they're a group of LBGT. 3 of them, all 3 women. One's a transgender, one's a lesbian, and one's confused. Right? So they said that we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure. What is nuclear family structure?
Normal family.
That's man, woman, child.
Wow.
They disrupt that. They're against that. How are you for black families, but you don't care about the family structure? You care about the women. And that's it. It's the extended families or these non-normal families. 2 mommies, 2 daddies. Those kind of things. That's who they care about.
Right.
But they're against the nuclear family. These were people of Black Lives Matter before they changed it because they were being called out for that. So let me keep going. So they're making you that accept these things little by little. Now they're in our schools now. So in the schools they have books now called the Gay BCs. They have books. They have events where drag queen reading time or reading hour. They have drag queens that read to your children because make it acceptable to see them as young. Because kids are like, oh, it's so cool. All this stuff they have on their face. It's they become normalized to it. Now it's like it's an everyday thing now. Like, why are you against them? They're so cool. It's so whatever they're doing, and doing all kind of crazy stuff in school. Your tax money is going towards funding these things right here. But you can't talk about God in school, but you can have this. This is perfectly normal.
That's
Someone make it make sense to me. But there's more. There's more books. Like Heather has two mommies, and these are children's books, by the way. These are for children, so they can get accustomed to it at a young age. Because studies just show that when you get a child below the age of 7, they absorb things very quickly. They live with that for a long time because that's what they're stuck in their brain. So they're trying to get your children when they're very young, even at the ABC level. Now he's not wicked, but it's more. I'm almost done. So I have a video here of teachers. So you have your teachers now. The majority of these teachers now are LGBT. A lot of them are women, and they're pushing this narrative on your children while you're at work, slaving away. You send your children to school to learn proper things. They teach them about it's okay to be a homosexual. It's okay to have these feelings, these thoughts. I didn't tell you to teach that to my child. Teach my child how to add, how to subtract, how to read, not what your views are. I want you to play that video, Cap. Play that video right there. That one, Orange County. This is one of many. This will be the last one I got, so if you got anything else, it's the last thing I got on this.
Newport Mesa Unified School District says what that teacher says in that video does not align with the district's values. They are now investigating this. Meanwhile, a lot of parents are very concerned and shocked by what they heard that teacher say.
So my class decided to stand but not say the words. Totally fine. Except for the fact that my room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable.
The school district says that's Kristen Pitson, who identifies herself as an 11th grade teacher at Back Bay High School here in Costa Mesa. She starts that TikTok video by saying that during the Pledge of Allegiance, she gives students the option to stand and say the words. She goes on to share that her class does not have an American flag and that she took it down during the pandemic because it made her uncomfortable. In this video, Pitson says a student asked why there was no flag recently. She says she tells the student she would try to find it, but then admits she's lying. Parents in the area say they are shocked by what the teacher says next.
In the meantime, I tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around and he goes, oh, that one?
Again, this video is now under investigation by the Newport Mesa Unified School District. A spokesperson says, I assure you that we take matters like this seriously and are taking action to address it. Showing respect to our nation's flag is a value that we instill in our students and an expectation of our employees. The district didn't give us any more details on that video or that teacher, so at this point it's unclear whether or not any actions will be taken against that teacher. But again, we are hearing from a lot of parents tonight who, after seeing that video, are demanding answers. In Costa Mesa, Jessica O, Fox 11 News.
Yeah, okay. So you all saw the video. So this is what our teachers are doing nowadays. This is what they're teaching your children. Pledge allegiance to that corrupted flag, that evil. They're corrupting your children's mind from a young age. They're what's the word? I can't remember what it's called. Where they're capturing the young brain. What's they doing? Because there's more video on this where they are constantly going after your children, trying to convert them to
brainwashing or
brainwashing. It's not really,
hypnotizing.
it's something where they're going to capture the mind. It's not really brainwashing. It's like you're pulling them over to your side, trying to convince them to come over.
That is brainwashing.
Okay, let's go brainwashing. But the fact of the matter is, that's what they're doing to our children. So while you're at work, you see your children to go learn their ABCs. They learn the gay BCs instead. Learn acceptance. Yeah. That's not with the scriptures. We're not supposed to be doing that. But that's what they're doing. They're subverting your wills and teaching them their own stuff instead. Because that's so couple. You got rhythm?
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So they are, whose children are they? Are they our children or are they other nations' children?
They're our children.
Okay.
So I don't care what the other nations do.
That's an important thing. Just kind of keeping in mind, who, let's say, I have a goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell other people my goal, but they can't necessarily work on the goal for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the same with the children. I have the children, I want to raise them up. I can send them to a school, but they're not going to care for the child as I would care for them. So That's what comes to mind with that. It's,
Come.
we can send them to the school system. We understand, you know, that's what comes with that. It's just more a matter of, you know, once we can get our stuff together, once we can get Israel together, then we can have that village that's supposed to raise that child.
Yeah.
You have someone knows Spanish, someone knows Creole, someone knows English. You can use those different talents to help raise that one child, and then you create the village, and now we have a whole system rather than really concerned about, okay, what are they teaching us in school, or what are they teaching in kindergarten? What's the what kind of drag queen is coming in today? She gonna have on high heels or flats?
Oh, I had some pictures too. Like, nah, I don't need to do that.
I don't need to do all that, but
Yeah, they look weird, bro. They look like some mystical creatures. We see them. Like a child is impressionable. So he said like, whoa, that's so cool, or like pretty, cause they look like some creatures, man.
I'm not even,
Like a fairy tale.
when I was in the world, I was kind of feared to bring a son into this world, right? But now, the Most High bring me into the truth. I don't have no fear no more because I know what path to take now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I thank the Most High for that, for waking me up, man, for waking us up. You know what I'm saying?
It was the opposite for me with daughters, cause I was seeing what the world was doing, and how you can't tell a girl nothing. You can't tell a woman. You can't coach a woman at all. So I'm like, that would be so scary to have little girls that grew up there. You can't tell them what to do at all. But now having the scriptures and how we're supposed to raise our young ones, especially the girls, and having other women in the truth, that's great examples of that. It's like, oh, this is easy now, because I can't tell them what to do. I'm their parent. But we watch Esau and our children. It's like you just can't tell them nothing. You see the man that's in the corners like, oh, mom's the word. You can't say nothing to them. While they out there with their hoochie shorts, they call it, doing all kind of craziness. And it's like, I'm the parent though. You can't correct me, Dad. I'm a woman. I'm liberated. Rawr. That's the crap we used to see on TV all the time. So I was scared, but now I'm in the truth and I see and have proper understanding. I'm like, okay, this is nothing. Like, give them the wisdom and understanding from the young. That's what we're supposed to do. And they should grow up just fine. But yeah, I don't want to drag on because I had drag on. That was funny. But that's it, man. So Biden is using now, he's now holding our children hostage to now force them to go on and listen to this tribe about these transformers. They're holding your children hostage. They're holding their stomachs hostage. So you have to accept their policies. I went the long way around to show this is nothing new. It's from history. And it's continuing to this day. To get you an adult and now can get you as a child now. So your children are in danger. You're at war, man. And that's not the topic of this class, but we're at war. Because only your enemy would do this to you. To do this to your children. Because they know that you rely on public schools. They know you rely on these government programs to feed your children because you probably don't have it. And the ones that do, it's not an issue because it's still going to be forced on them anyway. Because go ahead.
So like the man job is, right? What's their man job?
It was to teach the youth.
No, I'm talking about Esau's man job.
Oh, destroy you, of course.
To destroy the children of Israel, also to stay in power. You know what I mean? It's like, so by them keep destroying the children of Israel, they prolong their time on the earth. You know what I mean? So this is why I believe that we need that's why we have righteous men now to lead our people right, instead of sending them into the hellhole like Martin Luther King did, right? Before he got killed, what he says. I
sent my people to burn the house. I
Right.
realized he messed up. So, crap, he realized.
Yeah, so the Most High wake the prophets back on the earth again for that main reason right here. You know what I'm saying? Is to guide our children. You know?
Sad, man. No, I'm not sad. This is like I can't wait for the Most High to come back. No, he's gonna come back, but we have to get right. It's about us. Yeah. We have to get right. Cause he's waiting on us, not the opposite way around. So our people need to wake back up. And there's things that you can do because we know that there's people in the community that do teach our children righteousness, or they teach the children at home, so they don't have this issue. Maybe you can link up with another family that teach their children at home, have them teach your children also. You probably break them up with some bread so you can make their life easy as well because they're helping you out. Like there's things that we can do. There was Soul Academy. I know that school is still gonna be open up anytime soon again. But Soul Academy was a place that our children was getting righteousness. We had lots of powerful teachers from the Light of Zion. I was going there and teaching the youth, and they were like absorbing it. They were taking it in, and it was like, wow. But I don't know the details on the school right now when they're gonna be open again. But that's a place if you have children you want to send them to Soul Academy, cause they'll get the knowledge, the truth. Like, you guys have anything else to say? Cause that was it. My presentation is done. I went through everything.
Yeah, I'll say something before we close. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahushua. I just want to say is that the Most High bring the prophets back on the earth again, and we finally got righteous leaders, right? Because it's people that have been leading us wrong. We actually got righteous leaders that could leave a good name for themselves, right? That could leave them a good name for themselves. Like if there's something happens, so like let me get Ecclesiastes 7:1. Right. Basically, what I'm saying is we should not be following these other people, like as far as like celebrities, sport players, certain things like that. As the brother went with the whole breakdown today, these brothers are feminine out here. They're not the real men of the Most High. They're not the real men. There's no real men out here but the men of the Bible, the men that keep the laws of God. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Kat.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment.
Right? Like the people that keep the laws, even if they're gone, we know these men kept the laws of God, so their name never gonna be destroyed. We're never gonna tear the name down because these are the men we trying to follow. Same man, the righteousness in the Bible we following. Like we got elders now we following, right? Their name means something to us. You know what I mean? It's like the same as us. We trying to keep a good name so our kids, our youngins, could follow the same thing we doing right here. It's like that's what I say. A good name is better than what?
A good name is better than precious ointment. And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
It's better than before you first got here. You know what I mean? So a good name is better than anything out here, especially in the script, especially if you keep the laws of the Most High. Yeah, that's it. That's all I was saying. It's a lot, Kat. You got something to say?
All right. So with that, I want to say all praise to the Most High. This was a powerful class. Let's give it up to the Kat. With that, Shalom Israel. Y'all have a good night.
Shalom, shalom.